Hello viewers, today I'm going to talk about something very important. As a human being, there are certain things that you get free. The first most important thing that you get free from God is oxygen. What do you get? The oxygen. Every time, every second, every minute you have oxygen. So you're around, you're in the ocean of air. You are not in the ocean of water, you are in the ocean of air. So all the time you get oxygen from air, and all the time you need oxygen. As you can't live without oxygen, you need it badly. That's why God has made it free. You get free. Oxygen is free 24 hours. Every second, every minute you need oxygen. That's why God has given you free. The second most important thing that you get free is water. Water is absolutely free, but in the urban areas like Dhaka, you sometimes buy water, you pay water, little money you pay every month. That's very little. If you talk about the villages, the rural, the poor people, they don't spend any money on water. So you can also say that air is the most important thing that you get free from God, and the second most important thing is water that you get free from God. Without oxygen for a minute, you cannot live. But if you don't take water, you may live for a day. It's very difficult to go for long, but it may be possible to live for a day. 24 hours without water, you can survive. After that, it's really going to be very difficult to survive, and it's very painful. It's really difficult. You must need water. The third most important thing that you got free is your mother tongue. If you are Bangladeshi, you learn Bangla, and that's the gift from God. It was free, absolutely free. The fourth most important thing that you also get free is Hindi. How do you learn Hindi? You don't want to learn Hindi, but you know Hindi because you like Hindi movies, Hindi films, Hindi programs. So children keep on watching Hindi programs, Hindi movies, because they enjoy those movies. And in course of time, they find that they don't find any difference between a Bangla film and a Hindi film. They understand quite well. Even a teacher doesn't know Hindi, but a student knows Hindi because youngsters spend a lot of money watching Hindi programs. So a teacher can be a student and the student can be a teacher, because the teacher doesn't know Hindi but the student knows Hindi. And how did the boy learn Hindi? How did the girl learn Hindi? It was absolutely free. They enjoyed Hindi movies, Hindi programs, and they in course of time learned this. Okay, so fourth important thing that you need is English. As it is an international language, without English you cannot go, you cannot get a good job, you cannot really have many other advantages without English. So as air is free, it's important. As water is free, it's also very important. And those who know Hindi, it is very important for them, and they have it free. So English is the other one. You don't see it's free, but actually it's free. You have started learning English from your childhood. Even when you have finished your SSC, HSC, even when you have finished your honors, masters, even you have become magistrate, like you have finished, you have qualified for the BCS, still your English is very poor. You can write a little, you can understand, alright, but it's very difficult for you to speak English. Even when you speak English, you speak very incorrect English, and even without pronunciation. So what I want to say is that English is also free. How can you get this English free? UITS, UITS, University of Information Technology and Sciences. I'm the Director of Language Center. I'm the Assistant Professor of English. There I help students learn English free. Even I tell them not to try to learn English. What I do is I give them videos. They watch at home, they enjoy those videos, and they pick up the language. And when they come to classes, I also apply a lot of techniques that can help them learn English much quicker. Suppose this is a math. if you practice English for 10,000 hours, your English will be very fantastic. You can easily speak, you can easily understand, you can use English as your mother tongue. It's going to be very easy. But how can you practice 10,000 hours? Very difficult. But I make it very easy. When you come to classes for 60 hours, Friday from 4 to 7 and Saturday 4 to 7, and 10 days, 10 weeks if you come, just kind of 60 hours, what will happen? I will hack your brains. You will be interested in improving your English. You will improve your BBC pronunciation. You can improve your listening skill a lot. You can also improve reading, writing, and every skill. Okay, and if you know English, what's going to help you? You can do very good in IELTS. You can get very good scores in IELTS, in TOEFL, in other programs as well. So it is an opportunity that you should take, and UITS is a kind of charitable institution. So far as English language is concerned, the language center is not earning a lot of money because language classes are almost free. So if you come on Friday from 4 to 7 and on Saturday 4 to 7 if you attend classes, what will happen if you finish 60 hours with me? You can save 300 to 400 hours. If you practice at home for 300 or 400 hours, the English you will learn, you can also learn this similar amount of English if you attend my classes for 10 weeks, kind of 6 hours in a week, 3 hours a day. And I'll hypnotize you, I'll motivate you, I'll inspire you, I'll give you videos. In such a way you can improve your English a lot. One common mistake the students outside English department think that every professor of English knows English. Actually, a professor of English knows English, but his English is written and reading. Probably most of the professors can't understand English movies, English programs. Most of the professors can't speak well. They can write well, they can understand reading books, that's true, but to make your English as high as it is necessary to understand English programs and to speak properly with good accent as well. And if you want to understand all the books and stuff, what you have to do is to come to Language Center. You come from on Fridays and Saturdays every week. It's just for a kind of 2 months. If you are very advanced, if you come once at least, then I'll show you the techniques that you can apply at home. I'll give you the list of videos. In my channel there are 800 videos, and there are comedy. These are very, very effective because these are created by American scholars in such a way. There's a lot of medicine in that, in those videos. When you watch, you enjoy a lot. There's a lot of comedy there. When you listen, you also get the hard-coded subtitles in the video. So you're not just listening, you're also improving your reading skills, spelling, everything is there. It's there reading as well. And the language is in such a way used, the similar language you can use in your writing skill, in your what I can say, in your spoken English. So these videos are in such a way made, the language used there is good for your speaking English, your reading skill, your listening skill, and for your speaking English. But if you watch general movies, you can develop your pronunciation, you can develop your listening skill, but unfortunately the language is very difficult there. You cannot use it for writing. When you are speaking, you cannot get the lesson. Let me tell one thing very interesting. When you hear I gotta go, you don't understand. Actually, it is the full, in full it is I have got to go. But if you know I have got to go, and if you hear I gotta go, then you can't understand what it says. Similarly, there are words like annihilate. When Americans, British people say annihilate, you can't understand because you know it is annihilate. Actually, H is silent, that's why it's not annihilate, it is annihilate. There are other words like bouquet, T is silent, debut, T is silent, godot, T is silent. And in case of two words, walk, talk, you know that L is silent, but in many other places, L is silent. Almond, almost, also, alright, already, actually, like there's so many words there are. So I have a dictionary of my own. I made it. I haven't had it published, but I use this dictionary while I'm taking classes. I go about this dictionary, similar words together, the words that don't pronounce L, the words that don't pronounce T, the words that don't pronounce D, like if you have DG then D is silent. When you have a word in spelled with DZ then D is silent. So adjective, adjutant, adjacent, adjustment, right? So there are different techniques applied, so probably you can improve your English very fast. And it's not just the classes that you are really using for developing your English. There are videos as well. So there are 300 pages in my Facebook account. There are a number of pages. Most of them are for teaching English, and there are also literary Facebook pages, different kinds of philosophical, psychological. There are different aspects discussed in those Facebook pages. So once again I recap. What I'm telling is that you get oxygen out of air free. That's really very important. Without 1 minute you can't survive, and you get most free the water. Without water you cannot actually live for more than 1 day, like that. And without a language you cannot communicate. So animals don't have the language, they have serious problem, but human beings have their language. They can communicate, they can entertain with the language, they can convey all the information, messages, important things that they want to share. And this is what you got also free. When you were a child, you try to pick up the language without any difficulty. You are so much interested in developing the language. When your parents spoke Bangla, you were very careful to understand. Suppose the mother says, "Will you grab me a chair for me?" And when the chair was taken, the child thinks that, oh, grab means chair, but actually grab is not chair. Next time the mother says, okay, bring me a chair, and then the child understands that this is actually the English word chair that is used for the object. In different ways the child picks up the language. So what I say is that the most important things are free. God has given you free. But chicken is not free, it's expensive. Mutton is not free, it's expensive. Because without mutton you can live. Without chicken you can live. These are expensive because you don't need them very much. Suppose you need rice. Rice is very cheap. It's all because you need it very much. So God is merciful. You really should understand. So as most important things are free, then English is also free. But unfortunately, your English is poor because you wanted to catch English, you wanted to learn English. You went to a lot of places, you spent a lot of money, and you wanted to buy English. That's why you did not develop your English. If you were interested in videos, in programs for entertainment, for news, for different purposes, if you used to use English, then your English could have quite improved. So when you are having a comedy, when you are watching a comedy, you are improving your English. You are not actually trying to improve your English. English is automatically improving because you are enjoying. You watch most of Korean dramas because you enjoy, but you don't learn English from those videos. But if on the contrary you watch the videos in my channel, you can improve your English. But you're not interested in improving your English, you're interested in the comedy, you're interested in the laughing material, interesting things. There are also romantic, there are necessary things. Suppose I had a disease, I watched 500 videos on this disease, and it must have improved my English. As my English is not bad, it's not what actually I wanted to learn from those videos, but if you are sick, if you watch videos on those on that topic, on that subject, on that disease, you can also learn English. Suppose some interesting incident happens. So what you should do is you go to newspaper. But if you go to Bangla newspaper, it will not improve your English. So what I'm telling is that to get English free, you come to Language Center. That's at UITS. The classes from 4 to 7 Fridays and Saturdays. And one additional thing that I do to encourage the students is that I play a video. As I've given them a lot of videos they're supposed to watch at home. Those who practice at home, those who watch those videos, they come to university. In the middle of the class I play a video and I give a list of objective type questions. Suppose I give a piece of paper, there are 20 MCQ questions. When you're watching the video and trying to get the answers, when you're right, when you have done well, if you are the first, then you'll get a set of headphones. Interesting thing happens recently. One girl working at Canadian Embassy came to my university at Language Center and she started coming, and in the second day she brought her son. She has a son, he is 11 years old. So I tell her that your English is good, you're improving, that's fine, but your child will improve it much more. So bring your son. So she followed my example, she followed my advice, she brought her son. In the beginning the son was very weak because he studies in a primary school under Bangla medium. His English was very poor and he did very bad in this course, but some weeks later he did so good. He watched at home so many times, he even has memorized the dialogues because he wanted to enjoy from the videos. So his father was very happy because what happened is that he got the first prize. So that boy, 11 years old, he won the first prize after some weeks. His mother did not get, because his mother is busy in her office and he is much older than her son is. So when you're young you can pick up the language much quicker, as you're free, your mentality is free, you are not so much anxious, you are free from anxiety, and you understand an old man, an adult, he has or she has a lot of mental dissatisfaction, mental anxiety and so many things. That's why she or he can't improve that much as the son. Okay, so if your son is under 12, then it's the high time you brought him to the Language Center. There I go about something special. I teach BBC pronunciation. I drill with them, and what's very important is that if a daughter under the age of 12 finishes 6 hours lessons on BBC pronunciation of mine, I'll not teach him after 60 hours, but he will keep on improving his or her pronunciation, and when he's grown up you'll find that his pronunciation is like British people, almost like a BBC pronunciation. And if you are less than 20 you can also get a very very good result in course of time if you have 60 hours pronunciation course with me. And if you're over 20, it's not going to make your pronunciation absolutely like them, but you can go very close to it. The most important thing is that if you go abroad, before going abroad, you come to my language center at least for pronunciation. If you do not have 20, 30, 60 hours pronunciation course, and if you go to America or Canada or any other English speaking country, your English will be fantastic, but your pronunciation will not improve. So I give an example. Professor Shupot Kumar, he had been in Sweden for 6 years, and he had been in America for 14 years. He was a teacher at one of the American universities. His English is fantastic. His English is much better than even the American people. But the thing is that his pronunciation is quite like Bangladeshi's. His pronunciation is very simple, like your pronunciation is. So it's because he didn't want to improve his pronunciation. He could understand, he learned everything, but he could not actually pronounce like the British or the Americans because he did not like it. So if you are grown up, if you go to America, you can live live for 50 years, you can learn English, you can improve English, your English must be very fantastic, but your pronunciation will remain as it were. So thank you very much.